Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be discussing a bit more about snapshots because Minecraft have released pre-release 3, pre-release 4 and also release candidate 1. Now, just so you know, the difference between a pre-release and release candidate is that pre-releases that come after snapshots and they are just small minor changes and bug fixes with no new features. And the release candidate now means the update is ready for release. They have fixed everything they need to, unless any game-breaking bugs or something like that comes, then the update will be shipped with the release candidate. Now, with that being released, it is now confirmed that the update is ready for release on both Bedrock and Java, as Bedrock did jump to 1.21.100 betas now, so the Happy Ghast update is also complete on Bedrock. We still haven't got a release date, which is really weird. That will probably be released tomorrow, but it can be expected to release on Tuesday. So the most obvious release date for it now is Tuesday the 17th, as Minecraft always release updates on Tuesdays, and normally it's the Tuesdays after the release candidate. Although, once again, this is only going off what has happened in prior updates, there is no confirmed release date just yet. I will update the pinned comment of this video as soon as Minecraft do announce the confirmed date, but it's either going to be the 17th or at latest the 24th, and this should be the last update we see for 1.21.6, unless they find any game-breaking bugs that they need to fix before the full update is released. Let's quickly cover some of the changes and bug fixes, because there is one a lot of people are happy with, and this is a new music and sound. This is for UI. So this can be scrolled, and this is for any sound that is played by a UI. So if I now quickly just craft up this, you can hear the sound when I take this is quite loud. But if I was to go to music and sounds, turn this down, and now achieve it again, so let's quickly just do it. Okay, it doesn't seem like it affects smithing tables. That's kind of weird. I'm guessing by UIs then it just means like buttons and things. It's very weird how it don't affect GUIs for containers. I think that is something they should change, because obviously if you don't want this to be that loud, then there is a button for it, but I'm guessing this is probably controlled under blocks. But the UI then just means buttons, so when you click a button, if I just have this all the way up and I start clicking buttons, you can see it's very loud, but if I scroll it down, you can hear clicking the buttons is a lot quieter. I'm not too sure then what else this does affect, as UI seems to be just Minecraft UIs, not containers. Inside of pre-release 3, they did also add a new trigger to achievements or advancements, and this is player shear equipment. This takes in two conditions, the first one being the entity, and this is the entity that you shear. So in this case, it's used when you remove wolf armor from a wolf for the sheer brilliance, I think it is. So this obviously checks that you are shearing a wolf and not, for example, a camel. And then the items it's checking for is wolf armor, so you can't shear leads or anything like that for the achievement to be granted. So you can now make your own custom achievements that use this trigger. Now, there are also some changes to the Happy Ghast and Ghastling's shadows. The shadows for them were way too small for how big the model is, and for some reason there, the shadow didn't show. Is that because it's on snow? So if I spawn another one in a plains biome, yes, you can see the shadow does show for a split second. And then if we quickly just spawn a Ghastling, you can see once again the Ghastling shadow should also now be a bit bigger. And this is just to match up with the size of their model. And then the final bug that's worth mentioning in pre-release 3 is entities that are being ridden. So for example, if I was riding this camel and it was attached to a fence with a lead, if I was to go too far away, it wouldn't play the lead breaking sound. But it still seems like that is not the case. Let's try this again, this time looking at the lead, because it could be that I was facing away from it, that the sound didn't play. So if I quickly just back up, and maybe it's because I'm too far away. Okay, it does play, it's just very quiet because you're quite far away from the lead. Now jump into pre-release 4, which only has about 4 bug fixes. The first one is when the game was thundering, the thunder roar sound effect wasn't controllable with the master volume, so there was no way to make this quieter. That is now fixed and it's now controlled by the master. And then the final bug worth mentioning was if you was to ride a Happy Ghast and then you was to dismount, the Happy Ghast would stay still for a few seconds before moving again. It still seems like that's the case, but honestly, I don't think this is a big deal. I also think it staying still for a few seconds is good, because it means that if you dismount by accident and you fall off, you can then click on it again before it starts moving. The two bugs worth mentioning in this is Happy Ghast get you stuck in blocks while riding and get stuck in blocks upon dismounting. This is now fixed. And then also there was a bug with the locator bar where if you was to die and respawn, the locator bar can desync where players are or where you are. That is now also fixed, and the locator bar should show exactly where players are even after you die. A few bugs that I forgot to mention in pre-release 2, Minecraft did fix a few things with powdered snow. The first thing being when you would enter it, it was sometimes inconsistent or jittery. And then there was also a bug where if you was to ride a mob into powdered snow, like camels, pigs and things like that, it would also cause some problems where it wouldn't correctly affect players. So if I stand in it just with the camel is being frozen, but if my body was to then hit it, you can see we are also being affected by it. But for the player to be affected, the player needs to be colliding with the powdered snow as well as the mob. But anyway, now that is everything covered in these pre-releases and release candidates, this update has turned out pretty well in my opinion. We've got obviously the first ever flying mob that you can ride, as well as have 4 players on, and also the first ever mob that you can stand on. The Happy Ghast has achieved the first mob for quite a lot of different things. Don't forget also the lead mechanic, where you can now lead mobs together as well as lead bigger mobs to the Happy Ghast. The Happy Ghast has a lot of different uses, and you can also take these guys to the end. So if you obtain one early enough, you can take one to the end and ride it through the end without the need to kill the Ender Dragon to get yourself an elytra, which is a very good feature. I think this update is quite a good one. Obviously it could be better, but what update couldn't? There could be a lot more features. One thing it would have been better to see is the game expanding a little bit more on other transports, because obviously they've added the Happy Ghast now. So a lot of other transports are kind of pointless because these are pretty easy to get. I am also aware that Happy Ghasts are quite slow, so other sorts of transport are not really that useless. Like for example, elytra over Happy Ghast. Happy Ghasts can obviously be more free than the elytra, but they are a lot slower than if you had rockets. I think Minecraft have also done a very good job at balancing the Happy Ghast in other means of transport, because they don't really make any of them pointless in the sense of one's better than the other, because obviously each of them has their own benefits and uses to them. You obviously have elytras, you have things like camels, horses, you have boats, you have minecarts. I think at the moment the least useful is definitely minecarts, but also there is the minecart experimental toggle that is still sitting there. It would have been cool for them to rework that in this update as well, which sadly they haven't done. But anyway, once we know the confirmed release date, I will pin it in the video, and I will also have a video sometime when the update releases covering everything new. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And now this update cycle is complete, we can expect to see the next update, which should be 1.21.7. Now we have no clue what this update is going to include, and I'm not too sure how Minecraft are going to go about announcing it, because there isn't going to be another Minecraft Live until around September, October time, which this update will probably be released by then or around that time. So honestly, I don't know how they're going to announce features, but we also don't know how big or small this update is going to be, whether it's going to be a bigger drop or if it's going to be a smaller drop. But honestly, I can't wait to see what it has in store. And if you did enjoy this video, do like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.